Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Kingsport 1851, the finale of the finales, as we are in the 12th episode of this limited run series and the 4th episode of this particular part. And I had the entire crew of the good ship Tethys. Well, I don't know. Good? I don't know. It's also not a ship. It's a bark, but that's a technical detail. The somewhat ambiguously amoral bark Tethys. I'd like to first introduce my partner in crime in all of these matters, Serafina, who's playing Charlotte Goodwin, the captain, the believer, and the possibly soon-to-be victim of immunity. Who knows?
Who knows? Hi, I'm Serafina, she, her. I am playing Captain Charlotte Goodwin, also she, her. And, you know, my little Ahabian cohort. I'm just going to say this game stands as a testament to the fact that you shouldn't leave Kat and I alone ever, even with witnesses. It's just not a good idea. I slept through last session because, you know, the captain went after the infamous Nope Whale the last time we saw her. And so she has been insensible in her cabin for the last amount of time. Meanwhile, a mutiny has been brewing. So we'll see how that goes.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. You'll just rally your crew, you know, to wait, what is it you're trying to do? Annihilate their souls?
Find God, sacrifice them to a weird tentacle monster so that I can find God. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a crowded agenda. It's like Firefest. Next up, why don't we go to Scott, who is playing the first mate of this here Barky, James Fyfe, the old sea dog and confident.
Yep, I am Scott, he, him. James Fyfe also goes by he, him. Originally from Scotland, and we'll see where he ends up since this is the last leg of this voyage. He's stuck with his captain up till now and shows no signs of wavering, no matter what crazy comes.
Crazy does tend to come fast and furious around these here parts. Why don't we go next to Jim, who is playing Enoch Everson.
Everson.
Yeah. We all saw the reveal last week.
Enoch Everson. I am playing Enoch Everson. He is, if this were a wrestling game, the announcer would say that he is from parts unknown. He was discovered by the crew on a idyllic South Seas atoll, living all by himself, professing no memory of how he had arrived there or what circumstances had caused him to be living there all on his own, in apparent perfect health and a very picture of a physical pulchritude and just like a body like a statue of a Greek hero or something like that. He turned out to be pretty handy with a harpoon, so he has become a harpooner's mate and mate to the cook. So he has been learning the cooking trade as we've been going along, and he is the cook, and my sub playbook or whatever they call it for these, my accent playbook is the creature. So obviously there's more going on with me than meets the eye. We got to see a little bit of that last time, and hopefully we'll get to do a big full-blown reveal at some point later in this session.
Well, I mean, I'm not the only person who certainly wondered what would happen if his dark materials entered the world of H.P. Lovecraft. So,
yeah, there you go.
I'm interested that they're actually doing they're trying to make another miniseries or something based on that, because the basic premise remains: let's kill God. So
it does, and when you cast Lin-Manuel Miranda as your American cowboy, I think that's like I'll be on board just for that. So
that's kind of a tell of where you're going, actually. And I'd like to finally reach one of the founding members of our Kingsport Drama Society, Leandro, who is playing Eva Morgan, our mercenary outcast.
Yeah. Hi. My name's Leandro, as mentioned. I use he, him pronouns. And for the last time, I'm playing Ava Morgan, she, her, who is kind of the inscrutable bosun's mate of this journey, who, as the mercenary, is very well learned with how to inflict harm on people. And as the outcast hides a terrible sin. And we've kind of, for this most of the session, we've got the basic gist of the sin, which is that she abandoned her family to die in the Irish famine. But for most of this journey, she has stood with the captain for her own inscrutable reasons. She's incredibly closed off, even to me at the start, honestly. And I'll keep reading out the description I have here. Woman of deceptively small stature and perpetually narrowed eyes, as if the world merited nothing but suspicion. Utterly humorless. Who knows? I don't know. She started opening up to that weird trainee psychologist last session. There might be a chink in the armor there. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I would probably guess that any chinks in her armor are short-lived. As I recall, when we left off last week, somebody was sitting vigil over the captain. Was it Enoch or was it Eva? I can't remember which.
I think it was neither of us. It was Miss Dana, you said.
Oh,
Elizabeth.
yeah, that's right. I thought, okay, cool.
Did I seduce a woman in my sleep?
What?
Did I seduce a woman in my sleep?
Well, I mean, if anybody could, it would be Charlotte Goodwin, but
She's really good at it.
okay, so I think you wake up, Captain, in the middle of a storm. I mean, you only gradually coming aware of things, like you're in the middle of a storm. And sitting watching you is this old Polynesian woman with a crutch leaning against a table, who holds out one of your teacups and says, "Would you like a cup of tea, ma'am?"
Oh, is my harm healed?
Yeah, let's say it is, because that's fun.
Just gives me a chance to run it all back up again.
Yeah, that is my plan. I may have written some moves to that regard.
Great. Yeah, she like leans up, very sort of slowly, and takes the teacup and is like blinking at everything. And in a voice that is, coma roughened, says, "Who are you? How long have I been out?"
Well, I'm not sure how long you've been out, because I wasn't here when you passed out, but it's been several days. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mr. K. I am an archivist.
Pardon me for being confused. Mr. K?
Well, oh, that's right. You humans have two genders. I mean, actually, you don't. You have more. It's more like 15, but
Right. Sure. Am I am I correct in assuming that you are not her?
well, I mean, that's an existential question. But for the moment, yes, her consciousness, the consciousness that is normally tied to this body in 37-dimensional space-time, is not currently tied to this body.
And she's just been holding the tea this whole time, and then takes a long sip, and then puts it down on the edge of the table, on the table next to her bed, and says, "Well, I suppose I've seen..." Nope, I haven't seen anything weirder than that.
Well, I suppose I'm to be flattered by that, but all I can say is you need to get out more.
I'm trying.
Yes, we know.
So what can I do for you, Mr. K?
Oh, nothing that you're not already doing. Currently, your ship is on the correct heading, and we are here to observe. And hopefully some of us will report back.
are you?
I'm an archivist.
Yeah, I know what an archivist is, but typically they don't possess Polynesian women. Typically they just sort of work in libraries.
Well, I do work in a library.
Uh-huh.
It's just our library is in the distant past of your world.
She lays back in bed and says, "Can you just get my first mate?
Yes.
Can you just get James?"
Yes, of course. So she opens the door. Poor Neb kind of falls into the cabin. I'll go get Mr. Fyfe, ma'am. And shortly thereafter, Neb comes running up to you, James, and says, "The captain's awake. Captain's awake."
Wonderful to hear. Wonderful to hear. Let's go.
All right, so when you come back into the cabin, you see Mr. K is just sitting at the table with tons of foolscap with calculations and weird hieroglyphics written on them, just paying nobody any mind.
I have drunk the tea and I have pulled a bottle of whiskey out from my desk and am working on it. James.
Starting early.
Apparently I'm late to basically everything.
I see you've met Kay.
Yes. We've met.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, we encountered these archivists who seem to have a keen desire to see how our journey follows out. They say things that don't make any sense to me, Captain, and I've just decided to, sometimes you meet people on the ocean who talk in riddles and rhymes and say things that don't make sense. It's just part of being a sea person.
So I've met my fair share of wanderers and wayfarers and people from the theater. I have never met a person who... How many people are like this on the ship?
Out of character, we just have the one observer with us.
No, there's also Moira. I think there was probably one or two other archivists who came on board.
We have a small handful, Captain. They seem to be other beings inside the bodies of people.
And Kay gives a snort.
She takes a long pull from the bottle of whiskey and says, "This is my fault. This is my fault. I made slightly weird things normal, and now extra weird things are normal, and now everything's weirder than I can really handle. I'm just going to take your tactic, Kay. I'm just going to...
Right.
And this is normal."
Yeah, this is the new normal.
Huh.
Did Kay tell you that they're from the past?
That was, of all the things that were said aloud just now explicitly to my face, that was the one that got me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from the past up until now, but I'm certainly not from the far past. I mean, I'm just from the past 55 years.
I did not know that's how old you were.
I'm guessing my parents didn't keep track of the actual year.
Yeah, no, let's just put that aside because
we could all be from the far past for all that we know at this point in time.
Yeah. Let's just
I should tell you
Oh, there's more.
just a little bit that when we stopped at the island where we encountered the archivists, Neb showed me to some glyphs. I think Enoch was there as well. It's hard to remember, as will become clear. Touched the glyphs, trying to understand them, and I lost all. Well, I passed out and came to several hours later. Very strange.
Did we learn anything about what they said? Or
Enoch has had further discussions with them.
With the glyphs or the archivists?
The archivists.
Both would make sense to me at this point.
Yeah, I mean it's Enoch. He seems to be a musician now. He has a trumpet. See, nothing really changed. You were just out for a couple of days resting.
What's the trumpet for?
Sorry.
No.
Yes, that is correct.
Sorry. Okay.
I took it down from the crow's nest and stashed it in the captain's cabin, but didn't tell him about it.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Never mind.
Zzz.
Pull back.
If we locate Enoch at this time, he can give you some more details. He seemed to have a better awareness. As I said, I was unconscious.
Great.
For a brief period there.
Great. I guess I should check in on the crew.
Yeah, did Kay tell you that they're very keen to see where we're going?
No. Really?
Yes. Kay.
Yes. Oh, yes. Quite keen. Yes.
Because, I'm not going to question my good fortune.
That's an interesting take.
How is it interesting to be happy that my crew wants to go where I want to go?
Well, I'm not in your crew. I mean, for one thing. I would say that there's a vanishingly small amount of mortals that would be truly interested in seeing what you're about to see. I mean, not that I'm trying to spoil the experience, of course.
Yes. God forbid.
Funny you should say it that way.
Great. And she kind of struggles to her feet, and then I think she's going to make her way out and sort of generally check on the crew.
Okay. Elizabeth for sure is ecstatic to see you.
Aw.
Yeah. In a worshipful way.
I'm sorry, what?
I mean, she believes in your mission. That's why she didn't leave, after all.
She believes in my mission in a worshipful way, though. That's new.
Well, you are the believer. So I think we should check in on Eva and Enoch and see what they're up to now that the captain is awake.
Yeah, last session ended with Eva just finding some broth. Some crap stew, I guess. And I've not managed to talk to Enoch for a while. We could just be chatting.
You were going to look for food?
Yeah, where can I find food in this?
Yeah.
In this.
Yeah.
bucket.
And this would definitely be a thing where if you just walk up to the pot of fish gruel that just sits there for people to grab stuff out of, I'd be like, no, I will prepare you a proper meal and then actually cook something for you.
I think I'm just gonna try this time. I just nod quietly because who might say what cooking is better, and you do you, I think. So what's kind of stuff did you prepare?
Like, I have some like coconuts like stashed away, and maybe like a handful, like some and like spices from the island and stuff like that. I mean, we've established that I've got a little private stash of the good stuff, and so I'll I use up a dose of it when I make a big meal for everybody, but I feel like I could steal like a pinch of, curry powder or whatever, something like that, and maybe a little kaffir lime leaf or something like that to add to whatever it is I'm making for you.
Yeah, I think I'll take whatever you give me, and I say thanks. And then I think I'm gonna ask, like, we've not talked in quite a bit, Enoch. I'm just wondering how you've settled with the crew, with the ship.
Well, Ms. Morgan, it's the journey has been very fascinating. It's I fear that the presence of the others
What makes you fear them, Enoch?
they they don't see you as people. You're just vessels. And because their lives are so long, I think they fail to understand that your lives are precious. That in fact, because they are so short, they are far more precious than their lives are.
Is all life that precious in your eyes, Enoch?
Well, of course not, no.
I think Eva takes a sip of, I don't know, soup or... You must be working quite a bit, Enoch. Why don't you take a break? Sit with me for a moment.
Of course.
Okay. So, with these fears of yours, of these archivists, what would you propose we do then? After all, safety of the ship is supposedly in my hands. And I trust what you have to say.
I have asked for help. I appreciate if you will not ask me exactly what the nature of that help is, because I fear that I could not properly explain it to you, even if I tried. But know that there are others who are observing besides just, and I kind of like hook a thumb over my shoulder, indicating, what are we calling them? The anthropologists, the writers,
Archivists?
The archivists. Yes. I don't say the archivists out loud, but I like hook a thumb over my shoulder to indicate that's what I'm talking about.
Others, then, you mean? And we should put our faith on those others rather on these other others.
Oh, no. I advise strongly against faith.
Well, we're in accord in that, I guess.
But know that we might be able to ask for help.
Would this... Permit me this one question, Enoch. This help, would that explain that rather pleasant night that just happened. That pleasant night of sleep, I guess. Just the other day.
Did you sleep well last night?
I slept so well that it was disconcerting, Enoch. For I've not slept like that in a long time.
And I just grin like a stupid little kid grin.
Truthfully, I do not know whether to be thankful for being reminded of what I once was able to do, but it was nice, I guess, to have had that experience. It's been a while since. It's been a long while.
Ms. Morgan, your insistence upon judging yourself interferes with your desire to see the world and live in the world. You should rest assured that at a later time you will be judged, and you needn't do it yourself.
You're so sure of. You're sure of this, Enoch.
Oh, yes. Yes, we all. There will be a reckoning at some point for all of us, including, and I hitch my thumb over my shoulder, though they think they can escape such things.
I think Eva is thinking those words, and she's gonna just slurps into her soup. It's just. I guess I've held on to my hurts for too long. I'm not sure how others would judge. I'm sure of what awaits me, but again, it's
Then
nice to hear an alternative.
If you're certain of what awaits you, live the days that you have.
Enoch, you remind me of someone I thought I probably will never see again, but it's nice to be reminded of them.
Well, I'm glad that you slept well.
I think she actually smiles. She smiles at that, and not because of a failed Beyond roll. Like, yeah, I think we just.
And yeah, that's a great scene. Yeah.
Okie dokie. So Cap, how's the crew?
I mean, I think it's like you said, everybody is sort of excited to see what's up.
And the other thing I want to say is I'm totally comfortable if this was a thing where, like, tail end of our conversation, you were like starting your way down and overheard like the last little bit of it.
Oh, yeah.
Decided whether you wanted to come in on it or not. I'm very cool with you having heard some chunk of that conversation if you were inclined to eavesdrop on it.
Yeah, I feel like she's been like kind of rummaging around the ship, so she probably heard some of that. Yeah, and which did you said Ava walked off, or is it just are both of you still there?
Yeah, I think both of us are still there. I'm still eating my soup.
Cool. Yeah, so I think actually I wind up in the kitchen because I wind up in the mess because I wind up, I've been asleep for who knows how long. Food seems like a good idea. And so I eavesdrop and then I kind of announce myself from the hallway so that I'm coming in. And I like lean up against the door and I say, "Got any food for your wayward captain?"
Captain, you are awake. Yes. Please, a moment. You should not eat this. I will prepare something proper for you.
I think soup is proper.
Yes, but not this soup, I say. And I like turn around and start, and I'm going to kind of bang around on the stove for a couple of minutes while you talk to Ava, and then
I sit down next to Abe and I say, soup's good enough for you, but not for me. I don't know which one of us is getting preferential treatment here.
Well, Captain, you'll find that whoever Enoch treats with, he'll always treat them with the utmost that he can do. It's nice to see you're awake.
It's nice to be awake. Anything interesting happen while I was gone?
Oh, a host of interesting matters, I suppose. We picked up quite a number of interesting crew members.
If I met okay.
Oh, you met them. I suppose you've started developing what has been a blinding headache whenever you talk to them. Hello?
Sorry, I missed the last thing you said.
Oh.
I think it was my internet getting a little weird.
Yeah. I suppose you haven't started developing any blinding headaches when you're talking to them?
No. Should I have?
Well, they talk in theoreticals that are sometimes I fear beyond us, Captain. Interesting theoreticals for sure. But...
Well, they are from the past.
They're from a place beyond us. It's like meeting them as it's like a preview, Captain.
What do you mean?
Well,
and I place a bowl down in front of the captain and I say, they live outside of time.
She like pulls the bowl closer to her and says, explain what you mean by that, Enoch.
We live in the world and we live in time. The sea, I say, and I kind of point down. A fish lives in the sea and doesn't know anything that's not the sea. We can go into the sea, and while we're there, we're in the world of the fish, but when we arise out of the sea, we can travel above it. We can go to different places in the sea. We can step out of the sea. They can step out of time. While they're here, they're in the sea.
Well, I suppose that's a clearer way to say it than they did previously. So what do they want?
They wish to observe where we're going, Captain, and whatever awaits us there.
What do you think of that?
Whatever they're interested in, well, as you heard, Enoch, their interests are uncommon and momentous to them. I suppose it very much depends on what awaits us at the end, Captain.
I wonder if even as this place that we're going to is farther away from everywhere than anywhere, it might be further away from any time. No, further away from every time than any time.
Interesting. I mean, as interesting as it can be, given that it makes no sense. No, I mean, it makes sense. but it doesn't make sense. I'm not a scientist, Enoch. I'm a sailor.
Oh, no. But you are... But you've read scripture.
Of course.
You know that the world... you know that existence does not... I think I would say the world, maybe the firmament. You know that the firmament will not last forever.
True.
Perhaps this, whatever it is that they want to see, this is the only time that it will happen. If they live outside of time, perhaps they've heard stories of it. But this is the only way to see it, is to ride with us.
Interesting. Well, I mean, of course, they're here, so we don't have much of a choice. Have they been helpful?
They've kept to themselves. They've helped out where they can. Well, but they've not made trouble yet.
I wouldn't expect they would if they don't want to get kicked off of their research ship.
Well, they have... They have said things that are troubling.
Like?
That they... That despite their presence and the alacrity with which they can take over a mortal and leave, that they fear that whatever this is we're about to see may have the power to end them.
Interesting. Oh.
Perhaps.
Okay about that some more, probably. Because if they're afraid of it, maybe they want to see a certain ending to whatever we do there.
While you were gone, Captain, were you lucid?
Was I lucid?
Yes.
I was unconscious.
They intimated that you were somewhere else.
Should we backtrack that? Because I'm totally down with being somewhere else, but I don't know what that looks like.
I think that given the kind of dreams you might have been having, you probably would want to deny them.
Yeah, because Kay told Ava specifically that the captain was in the company of someone, a dreamer of some sort.
Okay. I'm interested in a flashback to whatever that is. But yeah, no, I was as far as I remember, I was asleep.
Yeah, I think I was gonna see if I could try to read the captain's thoughts, but no, I think Eva will let that slide for now. Maybe because I don't want to give Cat agency in it. I don't want to give it a chance. I think I'll just nod at that. It's like, well, Captain, it's glad to have your presence back. I'll leave you to your sustenance. Meanwhile, I'll see to the crew as always.
Great. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, she Eva slurps down all of the soup and leaves you and Enoch alone.
I'm down with letting that scene lie. I don't think I have more to say to Enoch.
Sounds good. So Enoch, you're cleaning up the galley, and the little girl comes walking in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of narrow my eyes.
Hello, cook's mate Enoch Avison.
Traveler.
Thank you. I feel that I require sustenance. Could you assist me? I'm not tall enough to help myself.
Yes. Do you not? And I kind of and I so I dole out some stew, and I put it down, and I'm gonna sit down across from her. So do you not feel what they feel?
Feel what who feels?
Her, I say, pointing at it.
Oh no, she is in the archive.
How do you know when it's time to eat?
I feel hungry.
So
I feel what this body feels, of course. When people first started to arrive in your time period, many of them did not speak the languages of your people, and there was a great deal of adjustment that will have to have been made.
So when you're done here, what then?
Normally, we would release the hosts, call it a psyche, back to their body, and we would return to the archive.
What happens to her soul if you die while you are? What happens to her soul if her body dies while you are inhabiting it?
If I understand you correctly, her soul is currently in the archive where it is contained inside a living body.
So she would be there forever.
Well, forever is a very long time, Enoch. Though perhaps not for you. Certainly the bodies we inhabit in the Pliocene are far more sturdy than these.
You know what? I probably wouldn't say forever. I would say for eternity.
Yes.
Yeah. It occurs to me as a player, I would say for eternity. Then she'll be there for eternity. And when she is there, does she hunger? Does she feel pain?
Of course. We inhabit living bodies in the archive.
But what's your world like?
It's hotter. The place the archive is in a great jungle. There are monstrous creatures who live beneath our city, but we have successfully contained them. For now. Eventually they will destroy the archive, but by then we will have already moved upstream.
If you are in mortal danger, will you flee and then put her back to suffer the fate that should be yours?
Would you consider that a very ethical thing to do?
Do not know. I do not know what you mean by ethical, but it would be cruel.
Cruel. Well, this is a ship of cruelty, is it not?
It is a ship of the world.
So are we. We are creatures of the material universe, Enoch Everson.
You have the choice to leave her there. We don't have that choice. They don't have that choice. They are here. They cannot flee whatever fate befalls them on this journey that you've convinced them to go on.
Oh, we did not convince them to go. We're merely observers. It was Captain Goodwin's mission to come here. It is she who has convinced her crew. Unfortunate for us. For how else would we be able to observe? It is not generally within our capabilities to enter a rising like this.
I think that you, and I tap her in the middle of the chest with a finger, I think that you deliberately misunderstand how your observation affects what happens here.
Enoch Evison. I am a transtemporal being who can possess many strands of thought. Do not lecture me on the changes I might cause by observation.
Then do not treat me like a fool.
How have I done that, Enoch Evison?
And I think I just this is where I just shake my head and I get up and you know what? I'm just going to walk out. I'm just going to leave her there to finish her meal.
Yeah, that's about right. That's c'est le mot juste. Okie dokie. Excellent. Okay, Mr. Fyfe. You are on the Holy Quarterdeck, and one of the other archivists comes tottering up, looking around at things, says, "Ah, yes, you're one of the people who was charged with the navigation of this vessel, correct?"
Yes.
Could you explain to me how it works?
Okay. And I go through the technical explanation that James Fyfe definitely knows.
He's nodding and nodding and nodding. It's like, and then he's looking at the compass, like, so this would be the way that you would determine the proper bearing to go on.
Yes.
I think you should be going this way, and he points a couple of degrees up on the compass board.
And what makes you think that?
So as you say that, the ship bursts through a fog bank into a vast and open space, but the sky is not clear. It's that weird high foggy haze, where the entire sky is just like normally just like white or gray, but here it's like almost a sickly green, and the water is as still as if someone has poured oil on it. And in fact, it looks like there's some kind of oily scum lapping up on the edges of the ship. And almost simultaneously, the lookout sings out, "There she blows!"
And I'll look through the telescope and see what do we see.
There's definitely what look like whales swimming fairly far away.
I will. What's the move called? Read a situation.
That would be be an appropriate one.
Got my little sheet. I'm gonna go ahead and roll.
My little sheet has been appropriately mangled, so.
Yeah, mine too. So let's. Well, that was good. I mean, in some universe, we shall add my 0 to my 4 for a total of 4.
That's fantastic. Okay. So without even being asked, the crew is already beginning to man the boats, and Zadok and Absalom are already lowering away. Captain, I'm pretty sure you'd come up on deck when you hear that call.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. So boats are lowering already and starting to row out. What do you do?
Um,
I think Elizabeth is just standing there looking at you expectantly.
oh yeah, I think Elizabeth and I are definitely going to lower on one of the boats. Along with like maybe it's not just the two of us on the boat, right? There's like
No, it's usually a crew of 5 plus the mate.
how do I not know that after 3 months? Yeah, so we definitely lower, and I have everybody, because we're all gonna. I mean, as many as we can fit on the boats. We're all gonna go after those whales.
And
All right.
Enoch come up as one of our harpooners.
I mean, Enoch is your harpooner, I believe we established.
Yep.
Okay. I guess that means Eva, you're left as the boat minder, huh?
Every time, they go off to their tomfoolery, I'm just here making sure the ship's spick and span.
Yep, I know. Woman's work is never done.
Hey, there's a bunch of chicks on the boat.
I know there are, really. It's a real hen frigate. That's fantastic. Okay. Cool. So yeah, Mr. Fyfe, pretty soon you're coming up on what looks to be a pod of whales.
All right, we shall tell the rowers to close in so that Enoch can get a good throw off. Enoch, prepare yourself.
Yeah, and up front, 1 foot on the gunwale, hoisting the harpoon.
I invite you to act with force.
I will do that very thing. 7 plus 2 gets me to 9. Unless someone could help me out with something.
I will help. And right as he's about to throw, I 10. I say no, just a bit to this side, and then Enoch throws.
Yeah. So I got a 10 plus. I get to choose 3 off of the list.
You get a +2 from my help. Yeah. So.
Fantastic. And you're not. All right. So I'm going to choose 3. Take definite hold of it or the situation. Suffer little harm. Inflict terrible harm.
Okie dokie. So the harpoon flies out. It hits this whale, which starts thrashing as the rest of the pod just leaves it behind. It's a younger whale. And with the rocking of the boats, why don't you take a harm there as you fight to keep control?
Which, both of us, or?
Just you, I think.
Okay. All right.
But the rest of the whales are getting out as fast as possible, and so is this one. It's just getting tired quicker. So Cap, why don't you?
I apologize.
Oops, I muted you again.
I apologize if I look distracted. I just had like a minor emergency roll through on my end, and I'm triaging it. Can I take 5 minutes and come back?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. I will be.
So let's go back to the ship then. So yeah, that one strange archivist is still hanging out on the quarterdeck, watching you as you try and keep the ship keep pace with the whales. I'm really not sure this is the right heading. That's the right word, isn't it? Heading?
Yes, that sounds about right. What makes you sure we're not on the right heading?
Well, normally I would be a little more aware, but I find that I'm sorry. Have I had this conversation already?
No, you have not.
Oh, good. I was afraid I'd already had this conversation. I find myself somewhat unable to perceive the I think I'm gonna have this conversation with you in a minute.
Well, perhaps then let's have this conversation. Why, pray tell, are we not in the right heading?
I think something might be happening or will have
Yes.
happened.
Well,
Will have happened.
that depends on what it is that is going to happen, sir. Right
Well,
now.
yeah, and unfortunately, future me knows, but I'm having trouble talking to them right now.
Why don't we just muddle along and see if we get to your future self? And then see if we'll find out the point of this conversation. Because otherwise, I have a ship to look after and we have bounty to catch.
What a charmingly quaint way of experiencing time. All right, then. He just sort of leans against the rail and starts to whistle. Why don't you...
Okay, go on. What do I have to do?
I would suggest that you acting under pressure.
Oh, it's the pressure. It's fine. My balance is fine. It should be alright. Grand. What is my balance, actually? Oh, it's a 2. Okay, cool. That's an 11.
Oh, that's good. So for some reason you just get a little spooked and you start to turn the wheel, which is good because the ship grounds on something hard. But it's only a glancing blow and you're rolling off almost immediately, but the ship listed first all the way over, then it rolls all the way back. So people are getting thrown all over the place. Something's rising up out of the water.
Oh, God. Can I see it from where I am?
It looks like some kind of stone construction.
Jesus Christ. I think, yeah, I'm going to try and maneuver the ship away just a bit more back to where the captain is. Just away from whatever's rising.
All right, cool. So you're barking out orders and people are running because you don't have a lot of the crew on board right now. So,
yeah.
So Cap, I think now we can catch up with you, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah. So you're approaching this whale.
Yeah.
Except, it's a kind of whale.
Oh, that doesn't sound promising.
It's a, nope back whale.
Great.
And it's cruising along quite gracefully near the surface. With its long streaming tentacles and multiple eye stalks, lazily opening its maw and exposing its many multiple rows of teeth.
I don't think I want to spear it.
That's fair. That's fair. What do you want to do to it? Because Elizabeth is just watching it with awe and then occasionally throwing up and then awe.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna roll. Gosh. I think I want to roll. Yeah, read its thoughts. I was like, what do I want to roll? I think I want to roll read its thoughts. You read my thoughts, Leandro. Yeah, I'm gonna roll read its thoughts, and that's plus brain, and my brain is 2, which thank God because I rolled a 6, so that's an 8. Which means I get to ask 1 at any time during the course of the interaction. What does the character need? What does the character tend to do? Ooh, what does this character wish I'd do?
Follow it.
Great. I lean back from the whale and I say, well, I guess I know where we're going. Follow it. The oarsman.
All right. Well, I mean, you had the tiller, so you can just steer. And cool. So when you ground on the streets of this strange submerged city, you'll at least have a direction to go. And with that, I think this is a good point to take our break. So why don't we come back in 5-ish or so, and we'll see where you are in the city. So, okay, a strange city is rising out of the waves. This is, fine. It's fine.
Mhm.
All right, so James, you're chasing that whale when the waves begin to part around you and roofs of ancient buildings built on a truly, shall I say, cyclopean scale begin to rise.
All right. I bark some orders to the rowers to try to keep the ship under control. Did it like stir up the seas as it rose to the surface?
Oh yeah.
And do I see where the captain's ship is?
That seems like you're reading this situation.
Yeah, which, as we know from earlier, is my strength. Ooh. That would be a 10.
Oh, that's excellent. Ask me some questions.
Who should I be on the lookout for?
The inhabitants of the city.
Okay. Who or what is in control here?
Remember that vision you had back on Not on Any Maps Island?
Yeah.
That monstrous intelligence that lay at the heart of the ancient drowned city? Yeah, that's who's in control here.
All right. Good to know. And what's my best way past?
Navigating your way back to the ship and then somehow finding your way out through the fog bank that surrounds the city.
Oh yeah, that's not going to happen. That seems like a sensible plan.
No, I might have rules for that. So.
All right, so try to approach the captain's ship.
Okay, well, unfortunately, with the buildings rising up between you, you quickly lose your view. So that sounds like we should maybe go straight on into that new move. But first, let me just check in with what Enoch's doing.
We're hunting a whale.
Yeah, but now the boat's aground in the middle of a street.
The boat has literally run aground.
Oh, yeah. It's not so much run aground as the ground has run up under you.
But like the boat has stopped moving,
Yeah.
essentially. Okay.
Yeah, that poor whale is kind of just flopping along at the end of your line.
Oh, it is? Like, wait, has the whale been beached?
Yeah.
Oh, well, shit. I'm going to pick up another couple of harpoons and...
And he's only doing what he's been told.
Yeah, no, I mean, eyes on the prize. Okay. Yeah, there's not really any need to do anything to that. Just you put the poor thing out of its misery.
And then I think so is this a thing where like it's just beached and there's like, water 5 or 10 feet away, or are we like
as
many like yards away from actually getting the boat back?
As time passes, the water retrieves further and further down the streets until you're pretty much left well, not dry as a bone. You're left slimy and wet on top of slick streets made out of some strange basalt like cobblestones.
All right. Did we have one of the archivists on the boat with us when we went out in our harpoon boat?
That's such a good idea that I'm going to say yes. Poor little Moira is kicking her legs against the side of the boat, sitting on the gunwale.
Oh, okay. So then I just walk up. I walk over to her and I grab her in both hands and I just like start to shake her and yell at her. What is this? What is happening? You will tell me what is happening, and I'm trying to intimidate her.
Enoch.
Can I go to the dice to try and intimidate her?
I think you can go to the dice to try and intimidate her. And James, you can. You're free to attempt to hinder.
Well, 9 + 2 gets me to 11. They can choose to cave and do what I want, or endure the consequences of my threat. If you want to live to observe whatever this is, you'll tell us what's going to happen. I say to her.
Did your hinder roll go off, James?
I got a 6.
Fantastic. Okay. I'll get to that in a second. So Moira blinks and is crying a little, and it's like, why are you threatening me like this? You knew that this was going to happen.
And I say, and I'm like just screaming at her. I did not know what was going to happen. You know what's going to happen.
We don't know the exact nature of what's going to happen. we just knew that there was probably going to be the rising. And here we are, and it has risen.
So I just kind of set her down, and I say, then take us to the best place to see whatever it is that's going to happen.
Are you sure that?
And I kind of point at the crazy buildings, and I say, do you know this city? You do, don't you?
We know of it, yes.
Then guide us.
Very well. But what will you do, Enoch Everson?
I don't know. I haven't lived through this moment yet, have I? Like you have.
I have not lived through this moment, Enoch Everson. I was going to ask, what will you do when these fragile human creatures run into something they are not able to contain?
I do not know, because I haven't lived that moment yet. Let's find out. Let us find out together, I say. You are here to observe? Well, show us something to observe.
All right. And she grabs your hand. I haven't forgotten about your 6, James. I'm just going to hold on to that for a second.
Lovely.
So Captain, yeah, you're aground now, and the Noteback has dived into some dark tunnel that was still full of water when it dove. So
cool. Can I see everybody else, or am I like? Are we all separated?
Yep.
What does the rising city look like?
Oh, your standard Cyclopean city built on a scale far larger than human. Strange, unearthly like stone constructing the buildings.
So she sits on the boat for a second and then stands up and steps off of it and leans down and touches the ground like she doesn't believe it's real. And then she straightens up and she says, "This is where we were supposed to be."
Yeah, so everybody in your boat crew except Elizabeth has split.
They're gone.
They're terrified out of their rational mind. But Elizabeth is there and she says, my spear is at your service, Captain.
She kind of can't contain herself and like wraps one arm around Elizabeth's waist and says, "These are the sorts of things that men wish that they could see." Are there any of the archivists on our boat?
I feel like it would be improper to deny you the celebration of Mr. K.
Great.
Yeah, so she comes limping out of the boat, leaning on her crutch, like, yeah. My host would have to have both best neural connectivity and hampered movement.
And I look at Kay and say, "You're a master of time. You should have possessed someone younger." And then I stride off into the city.
I'm not a master of availability.
Yeah, I think I want to do.
So are you? Oh yeah, no, please go right ahead.
I'm gonna do like read a situation. Like I'm trying to figure out where to go.
That would be good because I have a labyrinth move for this place.
Great. So should I roll read a situation or what should I do?
Yeah, I think you're gonna want to get as many +1s as you can cram out of things.
Oh, great. Good. Okay. Situation is plus brains. The brains are 2, right? Why do I forget my stats? There's only 5 of them. Cool. 12.
You rolled a 12?
Well, I rolled a 10.
I mean, no, I'm just how excellent. Sure, ask me 3 questions.
3 questions.
Wait a minute, is it 3? Yes, it is 3.
Yeah, 10 plus is 3. Okay, so well, here's a really good one. What here is not what it seems.
Okay. This city is not quite real the way you would think of real.
Cool.
It's kind of in the world, but not. It's occupying 2 places at the same time. Also, there's a certain dreamlike quality of the fog-shrouded streets of this enormous non-Euclidean cyclopic city.
Cool. What's my best way in, way out, or way past?
Well, the note back went one way, so
cool. I'm gonna follow the note back. Sounds like a great plan. And I guess what should I be on the lookout for?
So Kay says from behind you, "Disappointment, Captain."
I glance back at him and I say, "For a master of time, one would think that you would know the niceties of eavesdropping."
It's not eavesdropping if I'm merely using a very accurate model I've constructed of your psyche to predict certain reactions that you might have.
Do you know many women?
I mean, what is gender?
Fair. It's a fair cop. So the crew is freaking out.
The crew is split. It's just you, Elizabeth, and Kay. Yeah.
Just Elizabeth and Kay. Great. So I pick up one of the spears that's laying in the boat, and I've got, whatever else I have on me. And I say we follow the whale.
That's fantastic. Okay, let me just swing over to Eva and then we'll get back to you. Okay, so Eva, the ship is not quite grounded, but it's not going anywhere unless you get some more water under it.
Right. So we're at the edge of this city.
Yep.
Cool.
With unknown shoals around you and no clear direction to sail, even if you could get the ship off the bar.
I think I probably ordered the crew to just work on getting the ship off the bar. So at least would be on water. While I'm kind of giving these orders, I keep glancing back to this jackass archivist who doesn't know linear time. Hoping they've synced up.
It's like they're looking around like, interesting. I really wish that we came in a time with better camera equipment.
Well, that's hardly our fault, is it? Now, have you reached out to your future self? And then I turn back and start shouting at
Well, I
the
mean,
crew.
I've arrived at my future self, so I guess this is as good as it's going to get. What question might I answer for you, Miss Eva Morgan?
Where are we?
Well, do you mean in general, or are you looking for a name?
The latter.
Oh, okay. Well, it's he starts moving his mouth like, no, wait. Your jaws and tongues don't. Let me think. All right, you could say it like this. Rilia.
To the audience watching, they'll be like, "Oh, yes," but even it's like, that's just a name, and yeah, I think she realizes, yeah, that's just a name. All right, so there's a name. That is a name indeed. What's in this place?
Oh, the Dreamer. This is where the Dreamer lives.
This is what the captain's been looking for this whole time, isn't it?
He sort of gets kind of thoughtful. Well, in a manner of speaking, I suppose, yes.
What can we expect from this Dreamer?
Oh, pain, insanity, mortal danger, fear. Yeah.
So basically, what happens every time you brush up against divinity. Typical.
I suppose. I mean, you take your knocks.
We take our knocks and we just keep looking for more. And then I turn my back and see how's the crew doing with the dislodging of the ship.
Well, so the basic plan is they're trying to take one of the anchors, row out a little bit, lower the anchor, and then have people turn the capstan to try and pull the ship off the bar. That is the standard warping procedure, but you don't have as much crew on the ship currently, so it's not going as well as they could have hoped.
Are any of the crew that left the captain and coming back, or are they trapped in this labyrinth as well?
Yeah, they're Schrodinger's crewmen. They're out there somewhere, maybe.
Okay, all right, okay.
I mean, if you want to go look for people,
I want to. Yeah, who's the next most senior person? Because I'm assuming all the other harpooners have.
Let's see. The assumption would be if you're the shipminder, then Bill went out on one of the boats.
Yeah. I thought he had left with the folks at the Cassandra.
No, Bill stayed, I thought.
Oh, okay.
Well, wow.
Cook?
Yeah. There would be one of the you could appoint one of the able seamen.
It's Neb, right? Neb's the next highest ranking officer.
I mean, in this situation, possibly.
I think I don't know who I say this to, but I think I will just say that whoever's next. And Neb's probably not that. I think even I'm smart enough to we're not gonna give it to the cabin boy. I think I'm gonna say
Neb's got to accompany you if you leave the ship.
How is Neb, actually, since we're at the edge of this Euclidean city?
I mean, he's holding it together, and then he is not, peed his trousers. So it's like, this is a bad place, Miss Morgan.
This is the place the captain's been seeking. I don't think we ever thought of it as anything but bad.
Maybe we should go and find some of our people. Mr. Fyfe might know a way to get us out of here.
We should. We should. Would you care to accompany me?
Well, I'd rather not, but I think I must.
The choice is yours, Neb.
If you want to stay, his head sorrowfully. There hasn't been a choice for us in a while now.
Has there ever really been? Don't answer that. That answer might just depress me. All right. I think I'll just tell the rest of the crew to keep working on dislodging the ship.
All right.
I mean, yeah.
So, you're able to just kind of lower down and wade over to the city.
Are we finally triggering this labyrinth move that you've been teasing?
Yep.
Going into this.
Okay. Why don't you roll a plus beyond?
Oh, my worst stat.
Is it? That's a shame.
maybe
perhaps knowing that you want to do stuff prior. So I'll let you.
No, it's a 5 anyway.
It's a 5. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Well, actually, with my minus on, it's a 4.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay,
Doesn't like it matters, but
I'll get back to you just a second.
Okay.
So meanwhile, Enoch and Mr. Fyfe and Bill, of course. Poor Bill. It's just so bad.
And little what's her name?
Oh yeah, Moira.
And Moira, yeah.
So you guys are toddling through the streets, and Bill comes up to you, Mr. Fyfe, and just says, Mr. Fyfe, have you been hearing sounds following us?
No, have you?
Yes, sir.
Walking sounds? Marching sounds? What kind of sounds?
Furtive sounds, as if something were stalking us.
Well, we best be on alert then. Enoch, let's pay attention. Mr. Walker believes he has heard some noises behind us.
Who's Mr. Walker now?
The bosun, Bill Walker.
The bosun, Bill Walker. Okay, all right. Are any of us armed beyond knives or anything like that? I mean, I've got a harpoon that I brought with me, but does anybody else have?
I got my axe with me, my hand axe.
Okay.
Fantastic. Awesome.
And I just nod and I say, yes, we'll, we should see this through. Don't worry. I'm with you. I'll protect you.
Okay. Mr. Walker, we're on the right path for right now.
He doesn't know how to process that one, really. All right. James, I think I need to request that you act under pressure. Since you're the leader of this poor expedition.
7.
7.
Oh wait, balance.
Yeah.
Well, 9.
Oh, let me see if I can help to bump it to a 10.
Yeah. We have a bond of 1.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm with you. Yeah, no. That puts me to a whopping 4 on those helper dice. So I'm entangled in whatever Michigas happens here.
Fantastic. So the good news is, Mr. Fyfe, you are not surprised. The bad news is that's because something reaches out, clawed hands from the dark, and drags Enoch off into a building.
After him! Go! Mr. Walker, follow me!
Aye, sir, aye.
We are going to run into the building. Was this a building like a door entrance, or was there just like a big gaping hole in the wall?
Let's go with big gaping hole in the wall. That seems
That's not ominous. Then we'll go into that.
fantastic. And let me just swing the focus over to you, Cap.
This is gonna go so well, you guys.
Hey, I mean, you take +1 forward.
Sure. Am I rolling beyond?
Yeah.
I roll a 6.
Oh dear.
Wait, my beyond is 0, right? I don't take a negative. No, great. Yeah, I roll a 6. I'll miss me.
Okay. So as you follow this tunnel, the water runs down the middle of it. It's like almost like there's a channel cut through there, and I mean, just go wild with your H.R. Geiger imaginations. There's definitely like rib-like wall things. Finally,
Dripping from the ceiling,
yeah. Finally, you come to an end. What only can be described as some sort of dark portal, and it's carved in the likeness of the note back, so that the tentacles and eyes are flaring around the side of the hole, and you'd have to walk through the gaping pointed maw.
Sure, great. Cool. I think I turn to Elizabeth and I say, you don't have to follow me,
Where else would I go, Captain?
Well then, once more into the breach.
Okay.
Just gonna go that way.
All right. So you step through, and you're wading through this open space. The water's up to your knees now. And then at one end of this enormous space with, all the little H.R. Geiger touches, the arthropodic like supporting shafts, and the barrel vault with, scales or whatever. I mean, guys messed up. Along the sides, fixed to the wall, are these large leathery looking pods, or sacks of some kind. And then slowly from the water, the enormous form of the noteback humps out of the water, eye stalks and tentacles flailing, and it glares down at you.
I do the only thing that I can think of, having been raised a good, Christian-ish adjacent person. Because like nothing in my my pagan practice really prepared me for this. She like genuflects. She goes down on one knee in front of the large figure of the noteback and kind of like bows her head.
I think you should act under pressure.
Act under pressure.
I mean, you're good at balance.
I rolled an 8, so that's a 10.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So you don't panic when its tentacles wrap around you and it lifts you into the air.
No, don't panic. I'm fine. I mean, I don't panic. I'm fine.
So, Miss Morgan, you and Neb are walking through the streets of the city, and Neb looks at you and says, "Miss Morgan, perhaps you've heard of a ceremony that was done on the ship before she left. I wasn't part of it, but I've been made aware of it.
I've heard a whisper or two, but
It was a dangerous and dreadful thing, Miss Morgan.
surprise me, Neb. How much more can we sink?
Well, they say no one knows how deep the water in the sea goes, but neither here nor there, sir. They did the marriage, sir. The marriage of sea and land.
And what was the cost?
Well, there's great power to be held in that bond, and you can call upon it, but it's only power to deflect, not to create. If you understand what I mean? I mean, I'm saying that you can buy fortune for yourself, but only at the cost of misfortune for others.
The last thing I need, Neb, is fortune for myself.
Well, ma'am, we seem to be lost in this strange place, which is as near a vision to hell as I ever care to see.
Ava doesn't mention this, but when he says hell, he just kind of like thinks like, funny because she feels quite at home.
So, when you invoke the marriage between land and sea, choose someone to take the consequences and then make your move as if you rolled a 12 plus.
Jesus. Wow.
The MC will make the target's life much worse.
Wow.
I should note, you may make yourself the target.
Okay, all right, cool.
I will roll with that.
Because yeah, I think of all the people to know about that, this is kind of like the worst person to know about that.
But meanwhile, you are wandering. You're wandering through the streets of the city, and then you hear shouts, and you hear faint and far off Mr. Fyfe's voice.
I think I'm gonna pull out my revolver and just kind of like say, "Yeah, follow me to Neb," and I'm gonna run towards that direction.
Excellent. So meanwhile, back at the hole in the wall, Mr. Fyfe, you and Bill burst through the hole, and Enoch is being dragged further down by several large humanoid forms.
Yeah, when they burst through the like, I'm grabbed and like they pull me about like just into the door, and then there is an explosion of golden light, and broken fiery wings are gonna come bursting out of my back.
Oh yeah.
Because
Are you revealing your true form?
Yes. This is who I am. When you reveal your true form to overcome danger or surprise an enemy. And this is explicitly like I can do it anytime, but this is explicitly to do it to try and get an advantage as I'm getting dragged away here. So I'm gonna roll plus balance, which is just a fun flat roll for me.
True, but now you know a thing.
I do. So I got a 4.
Something chuckles behind you and says, "That won't avail you, son of Eve." And whatever's holding you kind of like flips you around and throws you down at the feet of what can only be described as a 10-foot tall fish man.
Mm-hmm.
Totally normal.
Yeah, everything's fine. What brings someone like you to my city?
Now, we've come in yet?
Yeah, I think you're coming in on this and like, oh, aha, hey, 10-foot fish man, awesome. Hey.
And it looks down at me and says that, and I say, we are hunting creatures of the deep, and we have brought harpoons. And I hope that that's a cue for one of my friends to throw a harpoon at this thing.
That sure sounds like it.
Yep.
Mr. Fyfe?
I'm going to throw my axe at it. Of course. Let's see. Five. So close.
I'm going to try and help. Because if I get a +2, that puts it to a 7, right?
That's true. All you need to do is roll a 9 or higher.
Yeah, so let me see what I got here.
Actually, wait a minute, Mr. Fyfe. You were told to be on the lookout for their inhabitants, right?
Yeah.
I believe that means you could claim your +1 there. Does that get you to a 6, or is it still a 5?
I'm -1.
Okay. Well, so it's a 6. So all you need is the +1 there.
Excellent.
Enoch.
So here we go. I rolled a 6. +1 gets me to 7. So bumps it by 1. So he gets the 7 and 9.
Nice.
Okay. So I think what happens is you throw the axe. What were you doing? You were acting with force, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Choose your what is it? 2? 2.
2, yep.
So I'm gonna stand up as large as I can and throw the axe with full force while yelling, "Get away from that man!" And I will take you inflict terrible harm and you impress, dismay, or frighten your enemy.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, you throw that thing and it lodges right in his chest and he groans, backs away, letting go of Enoch. And then two of the the 2 guys that were holding Enoch pick up tridents and throw one at you. So please take 2 harm, but your armor will it's not armor piercing. So
All right.
I believe you have 1 armor, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yep. Fantastic. Awesome. So we'll bring right after let's just get this moving.
Is there any reaction to the fact that I just transformed from the people that are with me?
I mean, I'm in shock. I'll say that.
Yeah, okay. So actually, Eva, you burst in, you see Enoch with enormous fiery wings, and I don't know, do you have glowing eyes and glowing hair, that sort of thing?
I think it's that thing where my facial features are kind of washed out, right? And yeah, like a kind of a flaming mass of hair, and I maybe don't quite stand on the ground.
Yeah, I see that, and I actually recoil at seeing that, and because I don't think I even know if that's Enoch, but I think I actually point my gun at.
You can definitely tell that it's me.
Yeah, I think I'll reflex. I think I'll actually point my gun at you, and my other hand is clutching to that rosary. So I kind of like, I don't know, what do angels say when they meet? They meet with with ordinary humans.
Do not be
Be not afraid. Yeah.
Oh, God.
They say, look, I know you're kind of freaked out by this. So.
Yeah, at least you don't have wheels for wings or many eyes or whatever. I think when you actually say that, the Eva's face goes from shock to like a bit of disgust before her face smooths again to as neutral as she can, and points the revolver away. Have any of you seen the captain?
We're kind of in the middle of a fight right now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, I think I did not see the other two. And okay, I'll retract what I said and just.
If you could get the trident out of my shoulder, that would be helpful. I can't.
Okay. There's still like two more of those fish people, or
Yes,
the
there
big
are.
tall one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna shoot one of them. I'm seeing this angel is making me annoyed.
I would say that's acting with force.
Yeah, one of the stats I'm kind of good at. That's a 10.
Wow. So choose 3.
Okay. I take definite hold of the situation. I'm going to suffer little harm, and I'm going to inflict terrible harm. And when I inflict terrible harm, I get to do more stuff.
That's even more horrible.
Yeah. Well, I have to roll to do that. I have to roll again. See if I get that. That's another 10. So a true professional. When you inflict terrible harm in combat, roll plus brawn, and a 10 plus choose 2. Your enemies retreat to a safe distance. And I don't know if I want my enemies to want me for their own. I don't know if I want that. I don't know. Would they become afraid of me? I don't know. In the fiction, I don't.
It's possible.
You know what? I'll go with onlookers. Enemies will tell stories of my prowess.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah, you just flat out kill the one that threw the trident at James. And the others, including the big one, just retreat back. But it will not be long before you start hearing the weird and eerie keening of strange trumpets and the horrid, odd rhythms of drums in the deep.
Oh, Jesus. Are they coming? Yeah. I think I go up to the one I shot and I get poked my foot and like, well, that's disappointingly corporeal.
All right, with that, let's go back to the captain. So it lifts you into the air. Its tentacles softly caress the side of your face. Of course, you're being horribly shredded by this. There's blood pouring out of your face.
I'll just take harm.
And it looks at you. You hear that voice, that horrible voice without voice in your head. Child of the land, why have you followed me so far?
And I think she's just staring, like, rapt at it. And like, how big are the tentacles?
About as thick as a person's leg, that kind of thing. Yeah, they taper to the end.
Like, does she have her arms free? Can she like move or gesture or anything?
If you want, yeah.
She touches the tentacle as it pulls away from her face and is like just baffled by the fact that it's like real and corporeal and she can like interact with it. And she says, I wanted the sea's divinity.
That is not me, child of the land.
Then what are you?
A servant.
Of whom?
Something far more.
A god?
To you, perhaps.
God of the sea?
God of power. What other kind of god is there?
She says, I just wanted to know what's out here.
Where was I enough?
Oh. Zoe says yes. She says, you are an answer to a question I didn't know to ask.
But I'm not the answer to the question you wanted to ask.
Not precisely. But we don't always get what we want.
You can go on if you wish.
Go where? To your god of power?
If you wish.
My first and only love is the sea.
All right. And as you hear Elizabeth scream, the tentacles whip you around with enormous force and slam you into the water.
Great.
I'll get back to you in just a sec.
Great.
Okay, so our other three merry adventurers. Hi, how you guys doing?
Peachy.
I turn to the girl and I say, if you wish to stay, if you wish to stay. But if you can archive this from afar and you would join us in doing so, tell me now.
She's looking at you with tears streaming out of her eyes and says, now I understand when I see you through these limited organs. Now I understand.
And like I make this like an exasperated sigh, and I say, you are not a child. Stop acting like one. Do you wish to come with us or stay here?
It would be well if one of us could survive to inform the archive of what we saw.
And like I just nod curtly once, and I grab her and throw her on Mr. Fyfe's, basically like throw her over Mr. Fyfe's back so that she can get him around the neck.
Okay.
I think we've taken off the trident from his shoulder.
Yeah.
And I hold out an arm to Mr. Fyfe, and I hold out an arm to Ava. And I'm gonna like kind of clasp both of them, arm to wrist like that, and spread my wings and take off into the air.
Okay.
Ava's determinedly not looking at you while this is happening.
You need
also,
that.
Ned's probably on her back.
Yeah, imagine. Your regular Noah's Ark. Well, I was gonna say that you'll be rolling act under pressure with beyond instead of balance, but you're already doing that anyway.
Yeah, and I'm the goal is to fly us back to the ship. So.
Okay. In that case, act under pressure first.
Yeah, sure. There's a 7.
Okay. Worst outcome, hard bargain, or ugly choice. All right. It quickly becomes apparent that in this plane, your divine strength is somewhat limited, and you're not going to be able to fly them all the way. So you do have to set down. You can set down on top of a building or try and navigate down into one of the canyon-like fog-shrouded streets. I mean, to be fair, if you land on a building, you don't know how to get down.
Well, yeah. If I land on a building, though, I could then maybe rest a moment and take them like one or two at a time. But
Okay.
so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to land on a building.
All right.
Because at least that's at least defensible.
Then the second bit would be to roll the labyrinth move.
All right.
And you're the only one that hasn't rolled it yet, I think. So
I
had a rule that it was only going to be allowed to roll once per session, but I think I'm going to modify that to, unless you fail, you can only succeed once, perhaps.
Is this a flat roll or what am I rolling on?
It's plus beyond, so it's flat here.
Which is flat for me. So there we go. That's a whopping 4. There we go. Boom.
Fantastic. You guys, wow. James is the only one with a positive beyond, huh?
Yep.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay. I'll get back to you in a sec. So, Cap, you're plunged down into the water.
Great.
You can feel the air trying to burst out of your lungs.
Great.
Until that moment when the first breath of water happens, and then there's some enormous mass in front of you.
Oh yeah.
And it opens eyes as big as you. You're like floating in the water, hanging in front of an eye as large as a picture window. So, the first thing that happens is when you meet the dreamer, you are annihilated. Take a harm and then roll plus beyond.
Great. Cool. Great.
What were the 3 questions you asked me before? Because that might help.
They were, what here is not what it seems. What is my best way in, way out, or way past? And what should I be on the lookout for? And I just rolled an 8.
Okay. So that's actually good.
Not bad. Not bad.
On a 7 to 9, give yourself over or take 2 harm in resisting.
I mean,
well, 2 harm would mean that you die, but you die on your own terms.
It's true. I give myself over.
Okay. So remember what I told you to be on the lookout for, right?
Yeah.
So as you float there, staring into its eye, you realize it doesn't even perceive you.
Oh.
And the utter indifference of the universe sweeps through your soul.
Oh, no.
And when you rise from the water, you realize that nothing has ever meant anything. Actually, when you rise from the water, you find Elizabeth is perched over you, rapidly breathing air into your lungs. And she steps back when she sees you, and she seems to be able to tell something because her eyes fill with fear.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she just breaks down hysterically in this like dark and terrible place and wraps her arms around Elizabeth's waist and cries into her like a child.
Okay.
Because what else can you do?
You do realize, though, that you have been given over, so
Yep.
I'm going to take some license to make things worse as I see fit.
Have a great time with that.
Yeah, I will. Okay. So in a more conventional issue, the building below you is being slowly surrounded by, 8 to 10 foot high fishmen. And they are carrying tridents, and then some of them come up with these massive crossbow looking things that have clearly been designed to be able to punch through water. So you're reasonably sure they'll be able to, do a total Game of Thrones on anything that flies over them. I mean, episode 4, not episode 5. You got to work for episode 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna call for help.
I figured this might be. I mean, you still also have that trumpet. You don't know what that does.
Well, if it weren't back on the ship, I'd be all over it. It's one of the things I was trying to get to. But calling
You left it on the ship?
It was in the captain's cabin.
Oh, well. I mean, it is possible that it might come if you asked it, but I don't know.
I suppose that's I hadn't thought of that.
I think here the obvious answer is for you to roll your others like me.
Yeah, my ask for help move. Others like me. So here we go. Which is, what am I rolling? I think this is
Beyond. It's beyond.
Beyond. Yep. Mm-hmm. So it's also flat. 11.
This one works for you. I mean, good God, if we were in Monster Hearts, you'd have like 7 moves already by now.
They come to help. When you call on creatures like you for aid, on a success, they come to help but choose one. Oh, they are going to appear in monstrous guise in this place. I think unquestionably, even if they don't normally look like that, here they're going to be perceived that way, I think is what's going to happen. And on a 10+, they also leave me with something puzzling and otherworldly.
Cool. Yeah, so let's see. Are the Seraphim the one that what does Seraphim look like anyway?
They have 7 wings and a bunch of eyes, and they're on fire.
Yep, that's it. That's the one.
So
those appear
monstrous and otherworldly.
pretty much. There's only like 2 down there, but 2 seem to be a lot. And a being that looks much like you strides down from the air onto the building, shoves the trumpet in your hands, and says, "Please be more careful with your toys."
All right. Yeah, and I just hold it up and.
Was your original name Gabriel instead of Enoch? Just asking for some friends.
Don't know.
Poor fishy friends.
My name is Enoch right now, so.
That's fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna wait. Like there's a moment where, and there's like in the background, there's that drumming and like weird piping and stuff like that. And I just play that kind of one pure note that is like the counter note to the underlying weird melody that they have going on.
Why don't you roll This Is Who I Am, but take +1.
I will. Six +1 gets me to 7. There's my 7 and 9. So what that means on This Is Who I Am, I think that's on a 7 and 9, I choose 2. I reveal an opportunity created by my form, and I discover a way in, out, or past that only I can traverse.
Well, clearly you part the murky air and are able to lift everybody up and fly this time with your wings made corporeal. It's a good thing because the ground is beginning to shake.
Could Eva refuse?
Could Eva refuse? That is up between you and Enoch and possibly your god.
Yeah, I think this displays whatever neutrality she had her face, it's gone. It's just like sheer disgust at all this.
Well, I mean, you could
I
invoke
think-
the marriage.
No, I think she'll probably explain herself first before that happens. I think probably like Enoch, you probably go for to get everyone to fly, but Ava's gonna like, instead of grabbing your hand, she's just gonna push Neb onto your arm. Then she's shaking her head.
Oh man.
I would rather. I'd rather suffer a million hells before I accept help from your hereafter.
And I shake my head and I say, I chose to be here. At the end, I'll be judged the same as you. And I hold out the hand, and I'm going to try and manipulate her with my beatific, form and stuff like this, and just try and see if I can just talk her into coming along, into changing her mind. We can use manipulate on other PCs, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna do that. Let's see how that goes. So 6 plus 2 gets me to 8.
I'm going to hinder that and invoke the marriage.
Oh no. Who's taking the consequence?
I never think. It's going to be me. I'm even at this point. I'm not going to inflict this on anyone else.
That's fantastic. Okay, so that puts a -2 on the roll.
Which puts me to a 6, which means if Mr. Fyfe wanted to step in, he might be able to bump it back up.
I'm going to try to help.
I take it. So you are pleading with Eva at this point?
Yes. Nope. 5, 6. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Enoch, you hold out your hand, but then you hear Neb. You feel Neb tighten around your neck, and when you glance over your shoulder, you can see that way that's parted is beginning to close. So,
all right, then I'm up into the air. She's chosen her fate.
cool. Moira slips loose and drops down by your feet, Eva.
All right, she's chosen her fate.
Yeah. I see that, and it's like, did you choose to die as well?
Well, I chose to see where you're going. Where are you going?
Throughout this voyage, I've only ever seen one destination, and that was the end.
What about the captain?
The captain seeks something else. If I could, I'd find her, but looks around. No, I think this is it for me.
You could invoke the marriage again.
Yeah. Oh, well, what's the move then?
It would be the
labyrinth
move. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I asked more like, well, if there is a way. Yeah. Okay. More misfortune on myself.
Well, excellent. So when you invoke the marriage between land and sea, and you get the 12. So when you navigate the fog-shrouded streets of Dreadrilia, on a 12 plus hold 2, you may spend 1 hold to find what you seek. You may spend 2 hold to send someone on their way to the exit, including yourself, but then only yourself. And you can spend 3 hold to take them with you. And of course, players may pool their hold together if they wish. All right.
Imagine if we had been getting hits on that move this entire time.
Oh yeah, it would be great. You guys would have been navigating around, finding stuff. So if you want to spend 2 hold, if you spend 2 hold, you'll find what you're looking for. Or rather, you spend the 1 hold, you'll find the captain, and then you'll be 1 hold shy. So you can do that.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna go find the captain.
Okay. All right. So, Captain, yeah, you're holding, and Elizabeth is crying, and then crying, and then gasping, and you realize that you have your hands wrapped around her neck.
Oh no! Stop that!
I think you need to act under pressure.
I think I do. Yeah. Why am I strangling Elizabeth?
You gave yourself over. Yeah.
I rolled a 5. How's that possible? I'm really good at acting under pressure. Oh no.
I can make as hard a move as I like.
Yeah, you can.
So actually, this is a serious timeout for me to check in with you. How hard can I take this?
I would prefer not to kill Elizabeth
Okay.
in like the worst possible way.
You find yourself fighting so hard to break your own grip that finally the only thing you can think to do is to snatch up with one hand her harpoon and just jab your own arm.
Oh, great! I'll take a harm. That's fine.
Take a harm. But you finally release her. She stumbles into the water and slowly gets up, coughing.
Yeah. I reach my hand out towards her, like my arm that's all like bloody and fucked up, and I scream, "Stay away from me!"
But
I don't know what that was. That wasn't me. Oh no.
it's okay, of course. It's been silently observing the whole time. Like, well, actually, Captain, where do you think these impulses come from? Do you think the dreamer cares enough to put an idea in your mind? You are a creature of hungers and protoplasm, and you need to fuel all those impulses.
Are you saying that I make the dreamer a killer?
Oh, no. I'm saying that human beings are killers, and that now that you have lost your reason to live, some part of you no longer cares about anything. If I've seen it once.
How do I fix it?
I guess you could try stop being human. Let me know how that works out for you. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I don't know how you people walk around in these meat suits.
And I look at him and I say, I don't think that now's the time for your jokes.
I don't anticipate getting out of here, so this branch of my consciousness will cease to exist. And as someone will have had said to me at some future point, if you gotta go, you should leave them smiling. You can feel free to throw a harpoon at her if you want.
I do not care enough to harm that person.
And then right as this happens, you hear a single clear trumpet note and the room begins to shake.
I, struggle to my feet with my 3 harm and start looking for an exit.
Okay, well, I mean, you can follow the way back up.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Eva.
The whole way I don't let Elizabeth touch me or support me. I'm dragging myself up the passageway.
With the harpoon.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. Yeah, let's do that sequence. So Eva, you come to that passage that's, the the tentacled and multi-eyed maw that leads into the dark. And you see Elizabeth come stumbling out of it, followed by Kay leaning on her crutch, and then the captain leaning on a harpoon. Did we lose Leandro?
He was just there.
I know.
And the captain, right?
Yes.
Ah, Jesus.
Oh.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Hey, Leandro, can you hear us?
Okay. Every time, every week now. Hello? Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear us, huh?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hello? Yeah, I can hear you just now. Hello? Yeah, I heard you there. Every time. Okay, yeah, I can hear you. I swear. Every Thursday, clockwork, 3 a.m.
Oh no.
I mean,
I'm gonna BRB. I'm gonna try and fix the internet.
Do
I'll
it.
back in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'll switch over to everyone else.
Cool.
Okay then. So, yeah, I guess we'll need to check in on the captain, on James Fyfe and Enoch as you fly over the evil city that is collapsing and beginning to submerge.
Yeah, so my intent is to just like not even touch down and just kind of drop everybody onto the deck and then swoop up into the air and basically be a beacon that guides them out through the fog.
Okay. So the plan is to get the ship underway, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm the captain, Enoch.
I'm up in the air. Oh, you know what? Like if you say that, I think I will say, I'm gonna say, if the captain is on board, she's made her choice, and if she's not, then she's made her choice, and we both know that.
And amen, tekelo parishim.
And I say, oh yeah, and this is the, we can stay and wait for the captain and all die, or you can fulfill your duty now that the captain is not on board and has left the ship to you. And I think that is my last word on the subject. Drop you and.
I ponder Enoch's words for a second, and I try to use my connection with the captain to see if I can have a vision of where she may be at the moment before deciding. So maybe sense from what's beyond.
Yes.
And since I'm the only one that's got a good beyond, I'm sure I'm going to roll a 2. Oh, I got an 11.
Wow. You get a distinct vision, huh?
Yep.
Well, it would be great if Leandro were up.
I know. We need him back.
Hey!
Yay!
We can see you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I swear, every week it's been at this exact time. Internet drops.
That was like, if only Leandro was here, and then you showed back up.
No, this has happened. This has happened every time. Like at 10 to whatever horrible time it is on my end, and my internet will start dropping. Yeah.
The internet wants you to go to bed.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, well, look, we're in the middle of something important, so let's do that first.
So what you missed was Enoch dropped me off at the ship and flew up to be a beacon, and I tried to make a connection with the captain to see if I could have a vision of where she is. And she was exiting to scene.
Yeah.
So it's the two of them. It's the captain and
It's
Elizabeth,
the captain,
right?
Elizabeth, and Kay come
Oh, and
limping
Kay.
out of the mouth, and Myra nods at Kay, and Kay is like, "Not bad for your second trip, huh, kid?"
I ignore the two of them and just say, "Did you find what you're looking for, Captain?" You're muted.
Yeah. And I, blood streaming down my arm, looking haggard and miserable. I like raise my eyes for the first time since I started walking down the hallway, and I'm panting. And I look at you and I say, I found the same thing everybody finds.
So you finally reach that point when being human is the worst thing you could ever be. What are you going to do now?
She like slides down to the ground because she just can't stand up anymore and says, give up, keep going. Who knows?
I think I'm going to sit next to her. I think I can't say I have any answers there, Captain. Well, I did reach that point, and all I did afterwards was to exist. And let me tell you, it's not really living. Once you've gone so far beyond trying to claw your way back, it's painful. And that's all there ever is. Just pain. What are you looking for, Captain?
God.
Well, I could have told you God is a right vicious asshole from the start, Captain.
Well, if I ever listened to anybody, I wouldn't be myself, would I?
That's true. If you could take any of it all back, would you?
Ask me tomorrow.
Do you want to make it to tomorrow?
This is the first time she looks at you. And she says, you can't look for the truth and then bitch when you find it.
Well, that's at least that's another question to answer then. What's next?
I've still sort of got a boat. I've still sort of got a crew.
Crew that followed you to the ends of everything. Hopefully, will follow you back out.
Hopefully. He was screaming on the floor. At my feet, screaming. She She like looks back towards, the hallway where she came from or whatever, and she says, "There's got to be more."
Well, there always is more, Captain. That's the thing with living. You just keep digging and digging, and you won't run out because, quite frankly, we're not like them. You don't have as much time as them. If you get up, then you might be able to find something else. Some don't. I certainly didn't. But you might.
All right. Then help me up.
Yeah, Eva stands up and holds out a hand. She just looks sad. But
Yeah. And I'm just a mess. Is Kay still with us?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Kay and Moira are just sort of watching you too.
Great. Yeah, so we make our way.
Ah, well, yes. To escape, you need more hold than you currently possess.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, you can roll well on your beyond roll or, invoke the marriage.
All right. Could I try for the thing? The labyrinth? And find my way out?
Yes, you can roll. It's plus beyond. You can invoke the marriage to get your 12 plus. Because you're so good at beyond, though. I mean, beyond is like your jam. It's almost never succeeded.
Right? I just don't want to fail again. Failure is fun, but this is ridiculous.
Well, I mean, theoretically, Eva could help you.
Yeah, I think I'll invoke the marriage.
Okay, who takes the consequences? I mean, there's all sorts of targets. Yeah, you're walking. You're walking doomed, my friend.
I think Kay.
That's just mean.
It is mean, but you know what? This part of his consciousness was gonna die anyway.
All right, cool. So, if you don't mind me driving a little bit, without even a thought, you just turn around and plunge the harpoon into Kay's chest.
Great.
Let the great gouts of heart's blood pour out.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of stare dispassionately, as does Moira. Moira stares dispassionately, like, he hates that.
And I like look at him and I'm so angry at how dispassionate he has been about my pain and like how much they've just like sat here and watched while terrible things have happened. And I look at her and I say, "Oh, well, it's good to know he can feel something."
Be a bit more warning before you do that, Captain.
Fantastic. Well, now you guys collectively hold 3, which means someone can get out and they can take someone with them.
Great.
You realize Miss Elizabeth's still there, right?
Oh, we can only take one person?
Yep. It's a lass for the awful sea. Not hip hip hooray for the awful sea.
Well, technically, this is hip hip hooray for the awful sea.
Yeah, fair.
I have become a cat butt.
So you can only roll the labyrinth move once, right?
You can succeed at it once.
I blew it last time.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I think we should cut back to you. So James, let me get James's Beyond thing out of the way. What you see is you can see a way back through the flooding streets to where the captain is if you take a boat right now.
Gonna get in a boat. Any oarsmen near me, or am I rowing myself?
Is there anybody on that ship? I mean, the only person I could think of who might possibly go with you would be Bill, but I'm assuming he needs to take command of the ship.
He does. Okay, I'm going alone.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So, yeah, Enoch, I guess you need to make the labyrinth move, huh?
Yeah, I mean, can I invoke the marriage?
Yes, you can. Just understand that for being of your stature, I will ask that the consequences be more severe.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the sleeper take them.
I'm gonna put that one out of bounds.
Okay, well.
The marriage between land and sea is a powerful magic. They ain't that powerful.
Okay, I tried. Oh man, and I can see that they're going to no, you know what? I think I'm gonna Mr. Fyfe is I don't think I want to. I don't know if I don't think I want to put it on any of my friends. So Mr. K's already had something put on him.
Oh yeah, he's like thoroughly dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna put on Moira.
Okay.
Yeah, she chose that.
Well, you hold two. This seems like a special circumstance to me.
Isn't it? Don't I hold 3 because it's a 12 plus?
No, 12. You hold 2.
12 hold 2. Okay, all right. Yep.
So, I'm gonna call this a special circumstance, though. For what you're trying to do, you can show the ship the way out. All right, yeah. For 2, you can show someone the way to the exit.
Yeah, I'll show the ship the way to the exit. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't include you, though.
That's okay.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So, I'm gonna guess, Eva, that you're not going with the captain.
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
I got to where I wanted, which is the end.
So, so you are, you're sitting there with Moira when suddenly she stands up like she heard something, and she looks around, and her eyes get big, and then she slumps back down and says, "Well, that's sort of what I expected."
What?
The barrier is back up. I can't leave now. I had some hope, Eva Morgan, that if you truly wished to, I could have sent you back to the collective. But now I can't.
That, but that wouldn't have been the right ending. No.
So I guess we're going to sit here and drown.
I would say there are worse ways to go, but you probably know of them.
I know very little of humans. My first field work was not on this planet.
Is the captain still there?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, unless you need to say something to the captain. I didn't want to shut that down that quick.
I don't know. Is there anything else the captain needed to say? Or is she just accepting that Eva's going to stay here?
Yeah, I don't know how that decision got made. Was it that you told me to leave? Like, are you the one that rolled with that hold?
No, I think I don't know how fictionally it would have happened, but mechanically, I think I don't think I would have agreed if you took me instead of Elizabeth. but I don't know how to represent that fictionally.
Well, I mean,
This is totally a place where you can turn a corner and someone is just gone.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind
And
of that.
and also the captain just sort of doesn't care right now. So,
Fair enough.
if she looks up and doesn't see Eva, then
Yeah,
Fair
she's
enough.
having a really rough time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny, I would have liked to have seen this collective of yours. Well, maybe I've met in better circumstances.
you have been a most interesting human, Eva Morgan.
Aoife. Aoife's my real name.
Well, I'd make a note of that, but under the circumstances, it seems purposeless.
Well, I'm glad to know someone else knows about it.
I'm scared, Eva.
I grab her hand. Me too.
Okay. James, I need you to act under pressure. That's a 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How badly do you want to find the captain?
Pretty badly. I mean, I've felt for a while that our fates were entwined, so
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to leave her behind.
Okay. So, with the wind and water and the waves whipping around you, Captain, suddenly you see James in a whaleboat rowing at you and Elizabeth.
This is the first time I think she's looked even remotely not numb since what happened underneath. And like she doesn't smile, but her eyes kind of shine, like she might cry. And she like steps forward and holds out a hand for him to help her into the boat.
Okay. So yeah, the two you and Elizabeth start to row, James, and as the water is lapping up around Eva, Enoch, the clouds part, and you see the ship start to head out, and then the wall of water that is surrounding the city rises up and smashes into the bark. What do you care to do?
Shit.
James did roll a 4 and told me he really wanted to find the captain while the marriage was still active.
Did so the bark is our ship.
Oh yeah. I mean, it gets hit hard. It's keeling over. It's gonna capsize.
I am gonna swoop down, and I'm gonna rescue young Neb.
Oh my Christ. Okay. Just for fun, roll me an act under pressure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think that is just a 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get to add anything to it, so it's just a 6. Because act under pressure is balance. Yep, just a 6.
Now, you said rescue, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you swoop down on the quarterdeck and the ship is capsizing over, you see Bill standing on the quarterdeck, lashed to the wheel, and he holds up Neb at you.
Uh-huh.
And you grab Neb and soar off into the air.
Okay.
Up to you if you want to tell him that he's actually dead and you're holding his spirit, but you did save him.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. There's time for that later. Like, so the fact that I have his spirit in this place does not mean that we are safe.
No, but you can probably head back to the island. It seems to be your place.
But I have got I have saved Neb from being stuck here forever.
Yeah,
which is what I wanted to do, and I am the ship is going under, and so I'm going to take this last opportunity to get away while we can, and save Neb. He's been making dire predictions all along that he wasn't going to leave this place, and I want to make damn sure that he leaves this place.
That works for me. Okay. So, do you need to see the bark go down, Captain? Okay. Yeah. Right. So as you guys float in the middle of the city, that ends up being good for you. You can see as that wall of water crashes into the Tethys and it vanishes beneath the waves. And sometime later, you come bobbing out of the storm, all alone on the vast Pacific.
Great.
You have a sail.
Not far from land. We're probably not that far from land.
Probably not. No, it's probably fine. Yeah, I like put up a sail and see what happens.
Yep.
Let's see. Trying to decide if there's a way for me to get us out of here.
I mean,
what's up?
Theoretically, you might be able to invoke the marriage, but we could just leave it here. The camera pulling back as you run up the sail and start sailing, hoping that you'll find a ship before you have to eat each other.
Yeah, I think she's like leaning back and she's like tearing off bits of her clothes and like wrapping them around her arm. And she says, like, I guess like the last thing she says before the camera like moves off as they're putting up the sail is, you know, James, I went looking for God. And I think you were the best thing I found.
And he just nods and smiles.
I can't believe I lived.
Neither can I. I was trying my best.
You tried your best to kill me. You really did. I could have died. I didn't want her to die like that.
Fair enough. I mean, you know, who knows? There may be weird legends of Charlotte Goodwin, the ghost of the Pacific.
I mean, I really like the idea of her being a strange sort of like ghost ship captain kind of legend.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, no one's ever gonna really know what happened to the Tethys. I mean, yeah, if you guys get back to land, even then, they will never really know. So hey, that was a pretty downbeat ending, but again, it's called Alas.
Alas. Yeah. Alas.
But I hope that was okay with everyone.
Great.
I think we can hop on debrief if everybody's internet cooperates this week. Yeah. Guys, thank you again so much. This was a lot of fun. Running the extended game was really interesting, and I was really glad to have Scott and Serafina, of course, along for the ride, but also some of my favorite players were in this series at different points. So thank you all so much for making this a really interesting game.